Today's video is going to be a part 2 of my neighborhood gossip video that I did, I think like a month and a half ago. And I was surprised by how many of you actually liked it and requested a part 2. So that's what we're going to do today. As always, I gotta shout out Mary Southern ASMR Sounds, who I think, as far as I know, a couple years ago started this trend. I will link my favorite neighborhood gossip video of hers down below, as well as part 1 of my neighborhood gossip, the only one I've ever done, because I'm just gonna like jump into it today. So if you want to know like who I'm actually talking about and like where they're positioned around our house and stuff, then you might want to go watch that one first. I haven't like fully planned out what, oh, that was my stomach, I'm hungry, sorry. I haven't fully planned out in detail what I'm gonna say, but I know the general gist of what I want to talk about, and I think this one is gonna be a little juicier than the first one. So let's just jump right into it. Also, the sun is going in and out, so you'll see it just got a little darker. It's gonna go a little brighter, so don't mind the lighting too much. But anyway, let's just jump into it, shall we? So this past weekend was one of the first like really nice, really hot weekends of the summer. I guess that's technically not true, but it was like a beautiful, it was one of the first, a beautiful, really hot Saturday, Sunday. So like I mentioned in my last neighborhood gossip, my neighbors right next door that way have a beautiful backyard, beautiful pool, outdoor bar with a TV in the bar. Their pool has like fountains coming out of it, like it's crazy. They put a lot of time and a lot of money into that backyard over the years. And actually last summer, I think, is when they really did a lot of the work. Anyway, not that really matters. But they had a party, as did my family. I was not here. It was my stepdad's daughter, my stepsister, I guess, her graduation party. I was not able to attend, but they were all here in my house, maybe like 20 people, not anything crazy. And they had music going and fire pit going, and people were drinking and playing like beer pong outside and whatever. And so it was a big party. I was sad I was not here, but anyway. So we were having a party, we meaning my family, and then they were having a party next door as well. So we again live in a cul-de-sac, so there were cars all lined up and down the street, which is fine. We don't care like if people from either side have a party and their guests need somewhere to park, like they can park in front of our house. We don't care. That's fine, because when we have people over, they kind of do the same. So you just gotta be neighborly and friendly, and we don't care if they don't care, whatever. So anyway, between our house and their house, and I think someone at the end of the cul-de-sac that way might have had one too, so there were cars everywhere. And the mean neighbor across the street, I forgot what fake names I gave them in the last video, so I'm not even gonna try to remember, but the mean one down the street who hates everyone, especially us and our dog, she flipped out. She hates when people park. Alright, let me map it out for you. So the front of our house is that way here, right outside this window is the front of our house. And her driveway, which we'll talk about her driveway in a second, her driveway is completely parallel to the front of our house. And so when people, like our guests, park in front of our house, they park in front of our mailbox. She hates when people park there because it's directly across from her driveway, and she drives a pickup truck, so I guess she just feels like she needs more room and it's a little too tight if she wants to leave. Which, sure, I guess she's entitled to that. If she had asked nicely, hey, I can't really back out of my is gone. If she had said nicely, hey, when people park in that specific spot, I can't she asked, this was like 2 years ago that she first brought this to our attention, or maybe more, I don't even know. She did not ask nicely, but even still, whenever we have people over, whenever my friends come over, I always make it clear, do not park there. If I see that someone parks there, I ask them to nicely, move their car somewhere else just to keep her happy, because she will 110% show up to the party and scream at somebody to move their car. And she's been known to walk around the side of our house, because we have no fence, we have no gate, walk around the side of our house to our backyard, to the party. And my mom and my stepdad had to say, like, hey, if you need us, please come to the front door. Like, I would never just walk into someone's property and be like, hey, I need you to do this. Like, I just feel like that's common courtesy. I don't know, unless you're like tight like that, which we're not, so a little weird. Anyway, so back to that specific spot that she doesn't like people to park at. So it wasn't even one of our guests, it was a guest next door, and they had parked across from her driveway, right in front of her mailbox. And I'm pretty sure, again, I wasn't here, so I'm just going based off of what my mother tells me. She went to the party next door and started screaming at people. She likes to call everyone inconsiderate. She's called me that a couple times, and my family. And I don't fully know what the end result was. I don't know if anyone came out to move the car, but I know she kind of made a big stink about it. And so back to her driveway. I found this out yesterday when my family and I were talking about this. Again, this is very neighborhood gossip, and all of this, I swear all of this is hypothetically true. If you know, you know. So I found out about this from my stepdad, who found out about this from our neighbor who lives behind us that we're close with, and he's lived here for a long time, so he knows the mean neighbor pretty well. Her driveway is technically not her driveway. She is on our street, but her address is the street at the end of our street, if that makes sense. So you have to drive onto that street and then you turn into our street. Her address is technically this main street, and her driveway was supposed to be on that street. Her driveway across from my house is a man-made driveway. She made that driveway for her car, which I just think is funny, because you're not letting anyone park there. That's not even supposed to be your driveway, but whatever. That driveway was here long before we were here, so that's what she's used to, and that's fine. Whatever. I just thought that was funny. And I also found out that and I don't know who she said this to, but she apparently gets upset that no one on this block invites her to their parties. My thing is, how can you expect yourself to be invited to these things? Which, first of all, we were having like a family party. We didn't invite the neighbors, but regardless, how can you invite or think that you would be invited to your neighbors' parties when all you do is scream at people and curse at people? Right? Like, call me crazy, but I don't want somebody like that at a party at my house, And she told my mom once, after, and I'm going to get into the specific problems that my family has had with her in a second, but she told my mom once, she was like, I thought that, we would be neighbors and we could share a glass of wine and whatever. And my mom was like, really? I said, you got a strange way of showing it. Because it's true. I think I told you guys in my first neighborhood gossip, I should have watched it before I made this video, but I think I spoke about it, that she cursed me out one day when Maya was barking. Maya was in the house, in my bedroom, and I had my window cracked, and she heard Maya barking through my window and started cursing at my window. and she knows where we moved from. Like, we moved from another state here, and she always calls us, like, I don't want to say the state, but she always says, oh, you blank people, like, put the name of the state in the blank, you blank people. So effing inconsiderate. Like, she's so nasty to everyone, but I feel like she's like extra nasty to us. So the main thing, and this came up the other day when I was talking to my family, because I had completely forgot about it again because I wasn't home when it happened. But my mom and my stepdad had some people from church over. So this was pre-pandemic. Definitely had to have been pre-pandemic, I think, yeah. And it was maybe like 4 or 5 of them. And they were in our backyard, and they were, you know, had music going, and they were just sitting outside lounging, chit-chatting, whatever. And Maya, I guess, either heard the neighbor or saw an animal or something, I don't know, and she started barking. And again, you know that smaller dogs tend to have more of a high-pitched sounding bark. And the neighbor heard her and started, again, screaming at the direction of my house, cursing, you effing inconsiderate blank people, just like literally cursing, like nasty stuff. And my mom can get, she's a little 5-foot Puerto Rican woman, so if you know, you know, she can get feisty. And my mom was like, what'd she say? And she got up and she walked around to the side of the house. Again, I don't know specifically what was said because I wasn't there, but I know that they went back and forth a little bit, and my mom and my stepdad actually called the police on her. I can't believe I forgot about this. They called the police on her, and eventually they just let her be. They came back to the house and called the police. The police came, and the police were not fully surprised. They, like, I guess, knew the situation, and I think maybe she's called the police a couple times on other people's parties, so they know of her, and they know that she just hates everyone and is cranky with everyone. And so he came to our house first and was like, I got you, I understand. He was like, do you want me to go talk to her? And I think they said no, or no, they couldn't have said no, because then what would be the point of calling the police? I don't know. Either way, he went over to her house and like spoke to her and whatever, and it was kind of squashed. Like, nothing came of it. I don't fully know why they called the police, and I don't know how heated the conversation got, because that's not like my family at all. So I don't fully know what the purpose of calling the cops was, but they obviously thought it was necessary. So, and like our family friends that were here, like one of them, she's a tough lady too, and she was like, what'd she say to you? What'd she say to, and she was like yelling at Maya too. She was like, what'd she say about Maya? And I wish I was here, oh my goodness. But she's so mean. And granted, like I said in my first video, I know of some things that she has been through in life that would make anyone angry and resentful. And, you know, she lives by herself and she's kind of just secluded from the world. I don't think she really works. So I get it, and like part of me feels for her, but we just kind of, we feel for her from afar. Like, none of us, why can I not speak? When we see each other, like, we act like the other one isn't there. She doesn't scream at our house anymore. We just kind of completely just stay separate. And I hate that, because I don't like that. Like, I love being friendly to people. I love seeing my neighbors and being like, hey, how are you? You know, so I don't like that. But also, like, we tried in the 90% of the time, like, we don't see her. She stays in her house. Her house is covered by like a lot of trees. You can barely see it. Like, I'm looking right at it, but I could barely see it with all the trees. So she's just very secluded most of the time, which is fine. But when she does come out, it's usually a little heated. So that's her. The other thing, there's just a couple little things. That family there, the other direction. I'm looking at their house right now. They're moving. I think they just sold their house. I think it's a husband and a wife, a couple of little kids. They had a dog, but the dog passed away. It was like a beautiful black lab. He was old. He was an old man though. Like, his whole face was like gray. He would just sit on the front porch all day. That's just what he did. They're moving, and our friend that lives behind us, they didn't get along at all, because they kind of share a driveway, which is really weird, and so they're not always very nice to him, and they leave their trash around and whatever. So he's happy to see them go. We don't know them very well, or really at all. I kind of just say hi, but that's about it. They're moving. I don't really know why I went into that. There's nothing juicy about that, but because I was thinking about their driveway. So at the end of their driveway, but like more on his side, our friend, the other day, he found a big bag of poop, assuming dog poop, but it was just left like in the middle of his driveway, and it wasn't even like by the curb, it was like in the driveway. And he, like, I think he told my stepdad, and then my mom called him just to kind of be like, hey, I heard, like, what happened? Like, because he thinks that someone deliberately left it there, which is possible. I don't know who it would be, though, because I don't know who, like, we have a dog, obviously. Party people next door have a dog. They wouldn't do it, because they're friendly with him, and then they don't have a dog anymore. Mean neighbor doesn't have a dog, so I don't know who would do that, really. But he's very upset about it. He thinks someone deliberately put it there, and that someone on the street or something, like, doesn't like him or whatever. I don't know. That happened literally like last week. I also said too, it could be like, because people on like streets next to us and like down the main street sometimes walk in here, because we have a cul-de-sac. Some people come and just like walk or whatever. So I said it could be somebody from like another street, or I don't know, maybe the garbage man dropped it. I don't know. It literally could be anything. But that happened, and so that's like the current mystery right now of who would have left that and why and whatever. And that reminds me of another story that I can tell you, and this one kind of freaks me out a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. This happened last winter, last Christmas, so Christmas 2019. On the very corner of our property, we have a huge pine tree. Huge. Very big. And so one morning, my mom and my stepdad left for work. They used to travel together because they worked in the same building, so they would carpool together. And they drove past the pine tree. They're just leaving, so they were going pretty slow. And they like saw something like stuffed under the pine tree. And they kind of like looked at each other, and they were like, wait a minute, go back. So they put the car in reverse and went back. And under the pine tree, there was a like beat up old Santa decoration, and it was like a big Santa, and the pants had been pulled down, so they were like around his knee, around his ankles, and I think the head was taken off and left like somewhere nearby. And yeah, the head was somewhere nearby, because I think they found the head first, and then they found the body with the clothes like off, but like still attached. It was very weird, and that always freaked us out too, because we were like, who would leave that on our property? No one puts garbage cans by that tree, so I can't blame the garbage man. That wasn't a decoration of ours. Like, where does that come from? So I remember back in the day, I jokingly said, like, oh, haha, like, it's the mean neighbor, she did it. But the more I think about it, I don't know. I'm not trying to start rumors here. Not that you guys really care, because you don't know these people, but, right? I mean, I don't know. Who else could, why would you even do that? Like, where does that come from? And it wasn't like it was, like, windy and there was a storm and it could have blown over. Like, it's just very strange. And I remember it was creepy. They took a picture of it and they sent it to me, and it was like a decapitated Santa, like half dressed, just left under a tree on our property. Very strange. The picture was creepy. So that's a funny story, I guess. We still don't know who did that. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know. Leave your guesses down below. So yeah, that's most of the juicy stuff that I had to say. The last thing I guess I'll say is our friend, the nice neighbor, he's still alone. His husband is still in Brazil. And I feel bad for him because he lives alone, doesn't have a dog. You know, I see him like doing all the yard work out there by himself, taking the garbage out, you know, cleaning, and he's just alone. I feel so bad. That's why when he comes over, like, it can be rough because he'll come and he will just talk your ear off and like genuinely like trap you in conversation. But I feel bad because I know he's lonely, so we always invite him in. But like, man, like, I know his husband's got family over there in Brazil, and like, I get it, but I don't know, if my spouse was leaving me for months at a time, and I was just, I'm like, he knew that I was alone, like, I don't know, that would make me feel some sort of way. He's out here, you know, making the money, making sure that the house stays afloat and everything, and, you know, he's doing it by himself, so I feel bad for him. But hopefully his husband comes home soon. I don't know. But anyway, that's pretty much all the gossip I have for you today. If there is more, I'll do a part 3, or if there are any new developments, keep you updated, hypothetically. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed